Hi, first off, I want to apologize for the late submission. I was having some technical difficulties last night, and so hopefully everything will get loaded up correctly on YouTube today. So for the running project, I focused on Title III of the Americans with Disabilities. And as you know, this prohibits discrimination on the basis of a disability in the activities of public that fall in 12 different categories. Some of these are restaurants, movie theaters, schools, daycare facilities, recreational facilities, doctor's offices, and whatnot. So as I've mentioned before, I teach in a Catholic school in Olathe, and we are about 90% Catholic students. The other 10% are different religions or no religious affiliation whatsoever. But we are a Catholic school. And so under the Title III, we are exempt because of religious affiliation, but because we are a public space, our church and our school are connected, and a lot of outside activities take place here at Prince of Peace. There are other schools that use our gym for practices. Of course, people of any faith, any disability can come in and out of the church as well as the school. The reason that I'm focusing on this is because we have a student in kindergarten, I'm going to refer to him as Connor for this, who has spina bifida and is confined to a wheelchair. He doesn't have feeling in his legs. And so I wanted to focus on how our school and our school community was helping Connor learn in the least restrictive environment and keeping in accordance with state and federal laws so that he is being given all of access that he can. I interviewed my vice principal to talk about any federal funding that we got. I talked to Connor's teacher and interviewed her, and I also talked to Connor's mother, who happens to be a teacher here at our school. Some of the questions that I asked different questions of the teacher and Connor's mom. Most specifically, I wanted to talk to Connor's mom about why she wanted him here at Prince of Peace instead of their home school, public school system of Gardner. She really emphasized that she wanted the religious aspect of Prince of Peace, which I can completely understand. We then talked about some of the services that he did receive in preschool. He had an OT, a PT, a speech pathologist, and a one-on-one para. So these are things that are not available to Connor here at Prince of Peace. He is taken out twice a week. His grandmother picks him up and takes him to Gardner, to his home school for special ed. Here at Prince of Peace, he does not have any of those services provided through Prince of Peace. His teacher is his main general ed classroom teacher. We do have pairs, but they rotate between the 3 kindergarten classes, so there is no one-on-one para for Connor. So we talked about that, and she did mention that she really wished and hoped in the future that we could get some of those services on site. But because we don't have federal funding, we really do not have the money to hire extra paras or have any of those extra resources here at Prince of Peace. When I talked to Connor's teacher, we talked about her, what she had to do for Connor specifically, how she's made modifications and accommodations in her classroom, and if she felt that she was trained and properly prepared for Connor and the disabilities that he had. She has made some modifications by moving things around in her classroom, but she does not modify her curriculum. So he is in a least restrictive environment. He is learning along with his peers. She says that he gets along well with his peers, sometimes that they do have some peer mentoring, but her concern is that she is she is seeing that there are other disabilities besides physical disabilities that were not mentioned or covered in his IEP, which she just received about a week ago. When she went to observe Connor in his preschool, he had all of the paraprofessional help that he needed there. OT, PT, speech pathology, and other things. He was not engaged in any type of curriculum learning at the time. He was working on a puzzle. So she really didn't get to see if he had any educational needs besides his physical needs. She does not feel that she was prepared for what she has to do in regards to keeping Connor safe and keeping him in this least restrictive environment. She is responsible for getting him around in the school. And when they do have recess, we have a nurse or a para that will take him out the front door of our school and around the building, because we do not have ramps to help Connor get from the main floor out to the recess area, which is difficult to say the least. Connor also twice a day goes to the nurse, and his mother comes to the nurse's office to change his catheter. She uses her planning time and her lunch time to do this. And if Connor has an accident or anything like that, our kindergarten teacher has to call the front office to get the nurse or his mother to come and help Connor. One of the main concerns that we have is his safety. Like I mentioned, there are no ramps for Connor to get in and out of the building in different areas. There's really 2 entrances that he can come in and out of. But if there were a real emergency, getting him from one floor to the outside would be difficult. We do have an elevator. We are 3 stories, so he can take the elevator to and from different specials. But like I said, it is difficult for him to get outside for recess or a fire drill. They have to take him in a completely different route than the class goes. So that is a concern of both the mother and the teacher. I do feel that our school, although we do want to become as inclusive as we can, it's hard because of the facility and the lack of funding to make the appropriate changes that we need to the building. I also feel that teachers are not trained like they should be. We have kids that come in from different school districts, whether it's kindergarten, 3rd grade, 6th grade, and we are waiting on files for them, waiting on IEPs, and we don't know what we're getting. And so that makes it difficult for us to prepare to handle this child's needs, whether it's emotional, physical, or educational. So I think that it's important, especially when talking about a child with physical disabilities, that we take into consideration our facility and what can be done to help facilitate the needs of those with disabilities. I do not think, I should put it this way. I think that because of the way that our school is set up, I'm afraid that we could put ourselves in a position of a lawsuit if something were to happen to Connor or to any other child that chooses to come here that has a disability. So I think even though we are exempt due to our religious affiliation, that we need to do a much better job of following Title III and making sure that our entire facility is handicap accessible, not only for students, but for all individuals with disabilities. So thanks for listening.